help me reach 1,000 subscribers. I never imagined that a week meant for reflection could end up altering the course of my life entirely. She called it her Clarity Week. A time to think deeply about our marriage, our future together, and whether we were truly meant to remain in each other's lives. She assumed I would stay behind, sitting quietly at home, giving her space, patiently waiting for her return, hoping that when she came back, everything would feel the same. I understood the concept. I understood patience, understanding, even self-delusion. I understood support. But I also knew something she did not. The morning she left, I had already made my decision. I didn't linger in the apartment as if waiting for some invisible sign. Instead, I moved deliberately, walking through the rooms that had once felt so intimate and familiar, now only emphasizing the imbalance, the effort I had poured in, the emotional weight I had carried alone, the love I had given that had not been fully returned. I packed my belongings with care but without hesitation. Her books, her scattered notes, the small gifts I had given her over the years. All of it stayed behind. I wasn't acting out of spite, nor was this an act of revenge. This was about reclaiming myself, my dignity, and my life. I moved quietly, aware of the distant hum of the city outside. A reminder that the world doesn't pause for anyone's indecision or uncertainty. I wasn't rushing, but I wasn't delaying either. Each step, each carefully placed item in my bags was a conscious decision. I wasn't fleeing our shared past. I was stepping into a space she couldn't touch, a place where I could retain control over my own life. Calm and resolute, I knew I wouldn't allow uncertainty to occupy the space where love and trust had once thrived. By the time she returned, the apartment had transformed into a silent witness of choices made. A quiet testament that spoke more profoundly than words ever could. She returned expecting hesitation, perhaps tears, maybe even panic. She expected to find a man she had known for years begging, pleading, desperate to restore what once was. But there was nothing like that waiting for her. The apartment was quiet, her side of the bed untouched. The coffee cup she had left days ago still rested on the counter. Her belongings remained undisturbed, exactly where she had left them. But I was gone. I hadn't left a note, a message, or even a word of farewell. Words would have only diluted the power of what I had done. She needed to face the consequences of her choices herself, and in that silence she would understand their weight. I moved out not to punish her, but to honor myself. Her need for clarity could not become my burden. I had offered patience, care, and unwavering support for years. It was time I offered the same to myself. Walking through the hallways, carrying nothing but certainty, I felt a quiet liberation in my decision. Friends would later question if I had acted too quickly, if I had given up too soon. They couldn't see the endless nights spent in doubt, the countless moments I had wrestled with myself, or the subtle ways I had tried to make her feel secure. They didn't see the cracks that had formed, small at first but growing over time, making waiting an exercise in futility. I moved on, not angrily, not bitterly, but calmly, deliberately, step by step, each one echoing a quiet strength. Sometimes the best way to honor love is to step away from it entirely. Days merged into a week, and the apartment that had once been alive with laughter, arguments, and routine now existed only as a memory. I found myself wandering streets I hadn't truly noticed in years, absorbing the little details of life moving uninterrupted. The freedom of that emptiness, the absence of expectation, was more enlightening than any conversation could have been. I sometimes imagined her returning, realizing that the man she assumed would wait patiently had already vanished from her life. But I felt no satisfaction, no malice, only the purity of self-respect, the calm clarity of having protected myself. Every ounce of effort I had put into the relationship had been genuine. Love requires reciprocity, and I had given all I could. She sought clarity on her own terms, not ours, and some truths only emerge when confronted alone. Weeks later, I stand in a new apartment, surrounded by boxes that carry the faint scent of fresh paint and promise. The emptiness is no longer oppressive. It is a canvas for my life. Each day I fill it with routines, small victories, laughter, and a sense of stability I hadn't felt in years. I didn't leave to prove a point or to punish her. I left because some clarity can only be found in solitude, and some love can only be honored by walking away. Patience, composure, and calm are not weaknesses, they are quiet strengths. And within that strength, I discovered the life I had been waiting for all along.